January 6th, 2024. Live streaming from a distant galaxy. This is the world's most controversial podcast, the Doomsy McDoomscroller Show, a philosophical science fiction series featuring realistic futurology and refreshingly heretical commentary on the news. And in the news today, this is from Yahoo News about MoneyWise, or this is their Yahoo News section on money. Anyways, you got Yahoo News, you got this Yahoo. He's quoted in the headline here, "I wouldn't let him manage a candy store." Kevin O'Leary blasts California Governor Gavin Newsom after Chevron projects up to $4 billion profit hit due to state's energy policies. And they got a picture of this guy below. I guess it doesn't look familiar to me. I've only seen a few minutes here and there of that Shark Tank show. That's what it says here. He's from. Article says Shark Tank investor and businessman Kevin O'Leary has a message for California Governor Gavin Newsom. Wake up and smell the hydrocarbons. The article goes on to say California's climate change policies have come under fire this week after Chevron revealed it faces a profit hit of up to $4 billion due to restrictive regulations in the Golden State. Oh no. Well, that wasn't in the article though. No, that was my reaction there. This is terrible, isn't it? I mean, they're still going to make a huge profit, but it's going to be $4 billion less. Back to the article. The regulations have resulted in lower anticipated future investment levels, the company said in a filing. So, this guy, in an interview on Fox Business, O'Leary slammed the state's uncompetitive energy policies and called California's management the worst of every state in the union. So, he says, I wouldn't let him manage a candy store. And then it goes on, California versus big oil. Okay. All right, this is where Doomsy's going to jump off that article for a second. And we got to say a few things about this guy. Yeah, you might look at him and go, you know, what a schmuck. This Larry guy, or maybe probably a lot of people want to be him or be in his position or have his financial status. But this guy, I mean, who is he? He's not a leader. Look, he's just another neo-pharaoh complaining about other pharaohs. You know, he could say, oh, well, shareholders aren't getting their due. But, you know, this isn't a capitalism thing. It's not. It's not a communism thing. It's not a socialism. It doesn't matter what kind of ism you're using for your economy. You're always going to get the socioeconomic hierarchy. You're going to get the masses of peasants, of the commoners at the bottom, and then, you know, you got the nobles, and the middle class, and then you got the upper class, and then, you know, there's the pinnacle, the pyramid gets pretty high. You know, but I mean, every government, every economy in civilized culture is a pyramid of pyramid schemes. Okay, so we got that straight. So this is not like an economic kind of thing. I mean, it's just ridiculous, this kind of complaint. And let's make one thing clear. Doomsy is not going to make any bets on these cap and trade, or on this what do they call it in the article? Restrictive regulations and electric vehicles. Not gonna help. It's not the solution. But so I still, it's not the solution, these restrictive regulations, but who cares? I don't care that Chevron's, they're missing out on an extra $4 billion in profit. Right, here's the thing about an article like this. This article, it exemplifies what y'all do. Take the money thing out of it, if you can, for a second. Forget about the profit loss. They're still making a profit, but the profit loss. Their pyramid's still getting bigger. Their neo-pharaohs are gaining altitude on the hierarchy, but profit loss. But let's take the financial out of it. What is this guy talking about? He's talking about the rape of the earth. He thinks it should be more aggressive. I mean, restrictive regulations, that's not stopping the rape. Yesterday we looked at that. I think it was yesterday. We saw that. The Clean Water Act. No, it didn't do anything. Well, no, I can't say that. 50 years after the Clean Water Act, most of lakes and rivers are toxic. So, your documents, your laws, you got that going for you, which isn't nice. But it just shows you what you do in your culture. It shows your worldview. Because even with the restrictive regulations, isn't everything on Earth a resource? Right? It's a resource for you people. And by you people, I mean 8 billion of you civilized people. Civilized with the capital C. 8 billion. East and West alike. I'm talking about 8 billion people. I'm talking about the worst culture ever in the history of humanity. Modern humans have been on Earth for 300,000 years. And one particular culture, yours, that's about 10,000 years old, is bringing the ecosystem to its knees. And you think restrictive regulations are going to help with that? Not going to help. But at the same time, what's the... at the same time, why is anybody supposed to be crying over this $4 billion profit loss? And This guy's got enough Ferraris and yachts, and I mean, you can only drive one car at a time. But what probably gets other people, what I'm talking about is poor people on this guy's side of the argument. This guy can get poor folk upset about this situation here, even though they have nothing to do with the profits of these oil companies. You can get them to, yeah, California, the restrictive regulations. You know, we should just like that MAGA jerk was saying. You know, drill, drill, drill. God, so stupid. Drill. Like the U.S. right now, drilling more than ever before, and more than anybody else. They're literally just more oil. You know what to do with. Well, you know what to do with it. Burn it, right? Use it. Put it in the ocean. So, restrictive regulations just means rape the earth, just not as fast. And this is because, so the peasants, the commoners, the stone draggers, billions of you that might agree with this guy, this Shark Tank guy. Yeah. Well, for one, you'd like to be, some of you probably like to be, have the pharaoh status, right? That'd be kind of comfortable, wouldn't it? And you also can't help but buy in to your cultural mythology, which says that you're punished planet conquerors. And so really you should just keep on planet conquering. You should just keep doing it. If you aren't doing it, you aren't living the way humans are meant to live, right? You're failing to subdue the earth, to have dominion over all living things, right? That old story that came along. A few thousand years into farming, the history of farming. So 4 billion profit loss. Wouldn't let this guy manage a candy store. California versus big oil. Look, okay, so I'll say this to California too. California versus big oil. Okay, beat them. If you do, so what? Big oil's gone. So what? So what? Your economy is still doomed. It's doomed. We saw that yesterday. Deforestation is guaranteeing the collapse of every economy in civilized culture. So, what? Big oil goes away. What if you get big oil shuts down tomorrow, and a fusion reactor, cold fusion reactor in every city. Still not going to help you. You're still effed. Because all that electricity. That let me tell you this. Let's just say this, right? Deforestation. That's not producing any electricity for you. So that's still going to go on. Deforestation doesn't get you from A to B at 90 kilometers per hour. Right? It's something separate. So yeah, let's keep that in mind, right? I mean, there's no such thing as prophecy, but probabilities, statistics, that's a real thing. Math exists. That's why Doomsy can say, for sure, civilized culture is doomed. Humanity, not necessarily so. And I'm still in this particular universe right now because I think maybe humanity will go on. I've been jumping around through the multiverse, and too often, for my comfort, I'm in a universe where there's Earth. Sometimes I'm thrown kind of in the future, a century or two, and there's too many Earths with no people, without people anymore. And also, without gorillas, without polar bears, without plankton, without coral, without penguins, without wolves. Yeah, and so I jump out of that universe. So I'm bouncing around through space-time here. And so I don't know. Is this article good news? California versus big oil? Stopping big oil is not the solution. Civilized culture will be abandoned. Well, it will end. And there will be a larger and ever increasing movement to abandon it. Because it just makes sense, right? Why stay in a culture that's bent on a self-caused extinction? I mean, it's not obvious to schmuck here. I don't know. I'm just gonna assume he's a schmuck, Kevin O'Leary. I don't know the guy. I just know this, that the neo-pharaohs, the reason you have them, the reason there's 1 million neo-pharaohs for 8 billion pyramid builders, for 8 billion holy war agriculturalists, the reason you got 1 million neo-pharaohs is because the mythology of civilized culture compels you to believe that you have to have pharaohs. You need kings. You need people living at some insane level of conqueror's wealth or whatever, so that you can justify your God delusion, the delusion of grandeur upon which your culture is based. That's the reason why. You think it's written in your DNA. Your culture, your 10,000-year-old culture makes you think that. That's why this guy is in this position he's in. Because every single society in civilized culture, you systematically filter through your population to find the most greedy, the most ruthless, maybe worthless, the most ruthless, most power-hungry people among you, and then you support them, you get underneath them, you carry them, you lift them, you push them up your socioeconomic hierarchy. So this guy, I mean, the money he has, doesn't mean he's smart. It means he's one of the most ruthless, most greedy, most power-hungry people in your society. That's what civilized culture produces. And he's upset, and according to civilized mythology, rightly so. The raping of the planet is not happening aggressively enough, and there's a $4 billion profit loss that's going to affect some other neo-pharaohs, pharaohs he may even know. And so the guy's upset. Bad governor. Newsom, bad governor. And then you get Newsom in California, what? Big oil. Stopping big oil is not going to stop the collapse of every single economy in your culture. You got about 2.5, 3, maybe 4 decades before deforestation causes the end of life as you all know it. We're talking economic collapse from which there is no recovery. So that's where you're at with this guy. I wouldn't let him manage a candy store. These guys are so... These guys, they're not good managers. They're not smart. They're not leaders. They're not. You know, just because you're riding on some comfortable furniture on top of some people holding the furniture steady, who are on top of people who have their feet on the ground running in a stampede, that those people on the comfy furniture, it doesn't mean they're leaders. They're not leaders. They're in the stampede. They're in the stampede too. 8 billion of you in a stampede, headed for an ecological cliff. And you got guys like this Kevin O'Leary. Guys like him, they got a comfy spot in that stampede. They're on the uppermost level. So you got people, commoners. The analogy goes, the commoners, peasants. You're the ones that have to trample the ground. Your feet are against the ground, and you got the nobility. They're riding on your shoulders, but they're really just acting like shock absorbers. They don't have to run. Nobility, you know, they don't have to. They don't have to run, but they're in the stampede. They don't have to run, but they got to hold the furniture above them for the royalty. And then you got the royalty up there. So you got the nobility, the middle part of the pyramid, on top of the bottom part of the pyramid. Well, they don't have to run, but they're on the shoulders. And they do have to kind of hold furniture. They like where they are because they don't got to run, so it makes life way easier for them. And then you got the nobility, or you got the royalty above the nobility. And they're on some luxury, comfy furniture in the stampede. So they're in the stampede, they're on top. But nobody's leading the stampede. These people are not leaders. This Leary guy or this Newsom guy. Neither of them are leaders. Your culture doesn't have leaders. Not set up by the culture. You don't. Your culture elevates a-holes, jerks. You elevate tyrants. And then people who you hope won't be tyrants, but you got to know this, that the only way to suffer under a tyrant is to, a tyrannical king, is to first have kings. And you just think it's written into your DNA that this is part of your species that you got to have. It's just the way to live. You got to build pyramids and have pharaohs. That's what you're told. That's what you're told to believe. For 300,000 years, that was not happening. So now you got this guy. You know, it's just, oh, $4 billion loss. Oh, he's so smart. Oh, we shouldn't let Newsom manage a candy store. Oh, what is he even talking about? Doesn't make any sense. California versus Big Oil. Big Oil, they didn't help themselves by having a spill. I think in Los Angeles, I think it was Long Beach, just a year or two ago. You know, politically, for their business. But it's not because they did something bad to the environment. It's because they made somebody's backyard ugly. That's why, you know, the NIMBY, not in my backyard. But Big Oil, don't blame Big Oil. It's not Big Oil's fault. Yeah. These problems you're having with the climate change and everything. Okay, a really quick thing about pronouns, okay? About this pronoun. There's a song. Big Yellow Taxi, I think it is. The name of it. And I think it starts out, or maybe the chorus. Anyway, some of the lyrics go, they paved paradise and put up a parking lot. They paved paradise and put up a parking lot. Paved paradise, put up a parking lot. You know, don't it always seem to go that you don't know what you got till it's gone? They paved paradise, put up a parking lot. Well, that's the wrong pronoun there. You know, I mean, I can kind of agree with the, you know, hey, farmer, put away your DDT. I don't care about spots on my apples. Just leave me the birds and the bees. Okay, but, you know, the DDT, yeah, that's bad news. That's a weapon of mass destruction. But you're saying farmer, you're the farmer. You eat food from farms, that makes you a farmer, basically. You're living by way of farming. And that's how you get your calories. So, hey, farmer, put away your DDT. But, you know, if he doesn't use DDT, he's going to use something. Farming is holy war agriculture. Y'all wage war versus Earth. So, in that song, they paved paradise, put up a parking lot. It should be, it's not they. That song, the singer should be singing we. We paved paradise and put up a parking lot. You gotta accept responsibility for it. These guys aren't leaders. These pharaohs, they're only up there at their altitude on the socioeconomic hierarchy because you put them there. You're the base of the pyramid. If you walked away, there'd be nothing supporting that. But for 10,000 years, nobody's walked away. You get upset with the pyramid. You don't like how you're being treated there on the bottom, so you try to rearrange it a little bit, maybe change the incline, I don't know, get some better things going for y'all. But you stay in the pyramid, and you just keep supporting and cultivating and fostering pharaohs. And then these guys, they get to, they're just Kevin O'Leary and Gavin Newsom. Oh, these pharaohs. Ooh, look, they say they're friends. Oh, they met each other. He said this shocking thing. One pharaoh to another. Break. Oh, 4 billion lost. Well, just look at the numbers. Oh, that's bad. I guess Doomsy's point is that it's not really a money thing. We're not talking about the economy thing. It's a planet conquering thing. The thing that's most upsetting for civilized folk, for the memes of civilized culture, is to slow down the destruction of Earth. That's anti-civilization, to not subdue, to not have dominion. That's what civilized culture is all about, the subjugation of Earth, and therefore the subjugation of women. That's your culture. This article here. Trump goes to Iowa, tells him to get over it, the school shooting. Get over it. Get over it. He says that because he's not a leader. The reason nothing will be done about the school shooting, about school shootings, guns or whatever, the reason nothing's going to be done about that is it's the same reason nothing's going to be done about climate change, about big oil. And that reason is they're not leaders. They aren't really leaders. They're not leading anything. Look, civilized culture is the cause of climate change. That's good news. I mean, that's good news, and it's news because it's not reported that way. How is it typically reported? Humans are the cause of climate change. And that's not just inaccurate, it's like detrimentally inaccurate. Detrimentally so. I mean, disastrously inaccurate. Because if humans are to blame, then, well, what can you do? You're all a bunch of broken monkeys. Can't rewrite the DNA of 8 billion people, soon to be 9 billion, because you keep producing food surpluses. And you want to believe it's humans' fault. And one reason you want to believe that is because you want to buy into the punished planet conqueror thing. So get over it. Get over the school shooting. Just get over it. People are voting for this guy. People want him to be president again. More so than any other Republican. You guys are whacked. Democrats don't have any answer. You guys, it's game over for civilized culture. There's no fixing it. And you can have these pharaohs whining about it to each other about, oh, this profit loss and these restrictions and regulations and everything. And they can do their best to make the billions of people struggling at the bottom of the socioeconomic hierarchy that your culture is based on, and get all those billions angry at each other, because it's just not fair, right? It's not fair what the other poor people are getting or what the other poor people are wanting. It's just not fair. That's, and it's because of race or something like that, when race doesn't exist. No such thing as race among humans. Yet governments like the United States government pushes the foundational belief of racists. They promote it, they push it. Government, all you talk, they want to do everything they can to make you think that biracial people exist. Government wants to do everything it can. The pharaohs, they want to do everything they can to talk about race like it's a thing. They never mention that it doesn't exist. They just, well, let's talk about race. Because if y'all are fighting as if there's different races, it's easier for them to keep their spot at the top. They're not thinking that though. They're caught up in it. Remember, they're in the stampede with y'all. They just got the comfy seats. But it's going to affect them too when it goes down. I mean, you know what we're talking about here, right? We're talking about deforestation causing the collapse of every economy. So this Kevin O'Leary guy, Gavin Newsom, a guy like him, money is going to be worthless. What was it? What was it? In Rick and Morty, when I think it was season 3 or season 4, the season opener, when Rick breaks out of prison, and then he changed the Blemflark. Is that the currency of the Galactic Empire, I think, from being worth 1 of itself to being worth 0 of itself. And the president was like, there's a solution you're not seeing here. Look, that's where it's headed. And with money becoming worthless, it's just going to come down then to, I don't know, drinkable water. It'll either be if all you billions of people, when this deforestation, if it gets to that point, if you push your culture to that point where deforestation causes complete and total collapse, it might get really, really bad. I mean, it might get really worse. If you try to stay civilized, that means maximum violence, maximum ugliness, maximum destruction, death and destruction. Because that's what y'all do. You're civilized people. You wage a war all the time. You do that all the time. So, oh well. Newsom's not going to manage any of Kevin O'Leary's candy stores. Kevin O'Leary, did I say his name right? In the article it says Newsom accused oil super majors of lying about climate change. Climate crisis is, after all, a fossil fuel crisis. They continue to play us for fools. Your culture is playing you all for fools, Gavin. You're at war with the planet. That's been going on for 10,000 years before big oil. You've had this war versus the planet. So just because you're going to try to outlaw a particular weapon of war, but just let the war go on, think everything's going to be hunky-dory after that? Or get real? Alright, well, that's all Doomsy's got for this January 6th. If you got questions, comments, complaints, criticisms, www.doomsymcdoomscroller.com.